In starting a new school year, there's the question, what is better for a school? Where should I send my child? Are you looking to send a child to a place, to an institution, to a school that has higher scholastic achievements? Their scores, test scores are greater, their academic level are higher. Or is the focus on character building? And what type of group is it? And what type of values do they inculcate in the children? And how do they leave that school as a human being and in their decisions and their behavior? Is that the focus? Should that be the way that you make the decisions? So do we look at academia and where am I going to learn more and do better scholastically? Or do I look at raising the child, educating the child in character building and in personality and in behavior? And that should be the deciding factor of where one should go to school. And the answer to this, of course, is in this week's Parsha. Like everything, Torah has the answer and the teaching and the guidance for every single dilemma and every single question. And in Torah, we have a verse, this week's Parsha, which tells us, Ki ha'adam eitz hasada. A person is like compared to a tree in the field. Tree in the field. Now, if you want to compare people, why do we choose a tree in the field? I mean, on the one hand, it's beautiful, it's exciting. We say a person is compared to a tree in the field. A tree blossoms, a tree grows, a tree provides shade, a tree has a certain calming effect, and a person is compared to a tree. But if you look at it a little bit deeper, if you think about it, in the world, we have four categories of creation. We have daim, inanimate objects. These are things which don't grow, like rocks or earth. Then you have the next level up, and that is vegetation, trees, grass, plants, things that grow. And this level is higher than daimon because it has a certain life to it, right? You cut a tree off from the ground, it's dead, it dries out. You give it enough sunlight and enough water, it'll blossom. Things grow. It's a greater level. The third level, I think a lot more. They communicate on some level. That's an animal. And fourth is the person. So if you want to compare the person, why did we choose to take a plant, a tree, and say a person is compared to a tree in the field? Why not say a person is compared to an animal? If you're going to choose one of the items of creation, why did you choose the lower one? And it's something which logic tells us this is strange. Why are we doing such a thing? So in order to understand this, we have to explore a little bit. What's the difference between chai, between the animal kingdom, and between semeach, vegetation, things that grow? Difference is as follows. Things that grow are stationary. They're stuck to the ground. They're attached. And as long as they're alive, this is where they are. They don't move around from one place to the other. Animals, on the other hand, living things, animals, they move. They're here now, tomorrow they're somewhere else. They're not attached to the ground in any way, which represent two different aspects of the person. You have the intellectual side of a person, which moves, which changes. Today, a person feels one way, and today a person thinks about this idea in one way, and tomorrow they have a different theory. When they were younger, they didn't have enough experience, they didn't have enough knowledge, they didn't have enough information. Now that they're older, they're more mature, they have a better understanding, and therefore their ideas are different. They changed their opinion. Logic, the mind, intellectual part of a person changes. Then there's the part, the character of the person, the emotions of the person, how they are made up, their midas, their characteristics. That's something which is compared to the tree in the field. It's attached. This is who the person is. This is their personality. This is their character. It's ingrained almost in their DNA, almost in their genes. They're born with it. We find a great example by the two brothers, Yaakov and Esav, two twins. And Torah tells us that when they were in the womb of their mother, of Rivka, she had tremendous birth pangs. Her pregnancy was very difficult. And what she felt was every time she passed a place of idol worship, something in her was kicking, trying to get out. And every time she passed a place of study, a synagogue, a shul, a yeshiva, then something inside of her was kicking to get out. And it was tremendous anguish. And she came to find out from Shem, and Shem told her that you should know you have two people, you have twins. This is before any type of ultrasounds or anything else. You have twins. And one of these twins are going to be on the right path, which is Yaakov, going to sit and study and learn and try to do the right thing. And the other one's going to be a man of the field, a hunter, a murderer, etc., etc., all the way through the rest of their life. Now, it's not to say that you can't change your character.
But why are we saying...
One second. It's not to say that you can't change your character. But deep down, if you compare intellectual side of a person and their midas, intellectual is constantly moving. You learned something this morning that you didn't know yesterday. It changed. That's like the animal part. A person is compared to a tree because a tree is grounded. A tree is rooted. There's the emotional part, the character of the person. You look at a child and you could see a lot about their personality and their style, and they'll remain with them later. Again, you could change. If someone's angry, or they have an anger problem, or someone is arrogant, they could work on themselves and change their midah. Very, very hard, but it's possible to change the way you were born. But if you look at it basic, this is who you are, it's your character. So what is the person? Is the person his ideas, or is the person his personality, his character? So Torah says, you want to know who a person is? A person is like a tree in the field. He is the part that's attached, the part that's ingrained, not knowledge that he acquired later, but his disposition. He is genuinely a kinder person, or he's genuinely a happier person. This is who they are. That's why there's a teaching that says, Adam Nimdad, the person is measured in three ways. If you want to know who a person is, you look b'kaisai, b'kisai, ubekasai. Kaisai means his cup. Look how the person acts when they drink alcohol, when they get drunk. You could see who this person is, how they are. You could learn a lot about the person based on their cup, based on how they drink. The next thing is kisai, his pocket. How does this person handle money? How are they with finances? I don't mean how much they have, but how do they deal with it? How are they in the field of money? And thirdly is kasai. How are they with anger? When they get angry, when they get upset, how do they act? You can tell a lot. So the three chafs, kasai is his cup. Does he get drunk? How is he when he gets drunk? Is he careful? Is he able to control himself and not get drunk? The kisai, how is he with money, with his pocket? If he gets a lot of money, becomes wealthy overnight, how does that change his character? How is he? You can tell a lot about the person. When they're tight and they don't have money, how do they behave? How do they act? You could tell a lot based on the pocket of a person. And kasa is when he gets angry. Certain people get upset and they react in terrible, terrible ways, and they regret it afterwards tremendously. Other people, they don't have that problem. They get angry, but you could tell about the person a lot about the art. Like Gordon al-Shalom would say, Morristown, he would say there's a third ki, the karoi, in his car. How a person parks his car, you can tell a lot about the personality. If they park close to the other car and the next guy can't get out, or they take up 4 spaces, you can tell a lot about the person based on his parking abilities or the personality, not ability, how he does it. So now we understand what is more important in life when you come into education. And by the way, when it comes to relationships, a person is deciding who to marry. And they're looking, there's on one hand, the potential spouse is very knowledgeable and have a great mind, and they know a lot, but their character is somewhat whatever. And no one's perfect, right? You can't have everything. On the other hand, they have an option of somebody who's a very kind person, very giving, caring, and so on. Their emotions are tremendous, are great. They're very good people. Their character is a lot to be, proud of, but their intellectual capabilities or their level of knowledge is maybe not the greatest. What should they take? And if you take this teaching and you say the character of a person means so much, knowledge you could acquire, you could learn more, understandings could be changed, but the character, the emotions of a person is really, really important. They said the story of Aristotle, and I mentioned this in the past. They once saw him eating, I believe it was a rabbit, by the ear. It was alive, and he was just cruelly eating the animal. And his student asked him, "Why are you doing this?" And he's, someone of your stature, someone of your knowledge, why are you behaving this way? And he said, "I'm not Aristotle now. I'm just a regular guy. Who you are your character is so telling about who you are and the way you behave. So a person is compared to a tree in the field because the part of the person, like a tree, is attached. What part of you is attached to you? What's not transient? What doesn't keep on changing? You read an article and all of a sudden your character changed. It takes tremendous effort. It takes a lot of work. It takes tremendous amount to change a habit of a person. That is the message from this week's parsha. That you look at character, and when you have a choice between knowledge or character, between sending someone to a school that has better academia but produces people that are let's just say rotten character-wise, the answer is clear that you have to focus on the Yiras Shamayim, you have to focus on the personality of the person. It means so much. That's really what matters in the person himself. In the month of Elul, and when we're focusing on growing and changing ourselves and being much better when it comes to Rosh Hashanah, this is also a very important piece. Not to underestimate, it's just the way I behave. It's not my knowledge. So I said something. So I reacted a certain way. So I felt a certain way. Don't underestimate it and say, it doesn't matter. It's not so important. On the contrary, it's extremely important. It does matter. And this is really the way to treat Elul, the way to come to Rosh Hashanah. Have a wonderful Shabbos, a wonderful preparation to Rosh Hashanah.
So why people send, you done?
Yeah.
So why people send